Oh, right.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's session. I'm not sure if you guys watched the recording from last week, but if you didn't, you have that in Blackboard, and you should be able to watch it. And just make sure to do the discussions as well. If you have any questions there, let me know. And oh, perfect. Let me know, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. But for this week, we are going to be talking a little bit about incident response. For incident response, we're not gonna go in depth in terms of like how do you write an incident response, right? Or what are the components? Well, we're gonna talk about some of the components, but not in depth. So, this one is just gonna make you understand what is an incident response, what is the framework and the life cycle that it follows, why it's critical, some things that you need to know, and then some of the tools that we utilize. Some of the tools that we'll go over, they kind of, some of them, not all of them, we already discussed before, but you're going to see why it makes sense within this topic, because again, an incident response it does involve multiple different things, and you might end up touching these tools to get some logs or something like that. So for today, we're just going to go over incident response. I'll give you the information that you need to know that are covered within the Google cybersecurity certification. And then from there, I'll just make sure that everyone know where to go in Coursera for the reading material. And then, we'll just go ahead and end it. For this one, it's a little bit shorter than the other modules, similar to the last module, which is the last week for this class. But, we'll just go over it. I'll explain as much as I can. And then after that, if you have any questions, you let me know and I'll be more than happy to answer them. And before, just so everyone know, I used to like create wikis in Blackboard, and then you guys read it from there. But then I was like, might as well just do it in Coursera, because now they are actually starting to emphasize on, completing the needed materials by week 8. And if you need an extension, we'll be able to give it, but not for your session. Your session, you should be good, and you will have like as much time as you need. But once we get the new rollout, then they will start requiring it. So that's why I started working with Coursera, and then you guys go there, do some reading, and so on and so forth. But that's all information for you just to know. For today, we'll just go ahead and dive into it, and I'll explain everything associated to incident response. Now, incident response by itself, what do we mean by it? Why it's important? Any organization that you might be working for or you're going to work for, it doesn't matter if you're an engineer, if you are a programmer, if you are, in security, in networking, in operations, in finance, any department. if an incident happened and it involves one of your employees, let's say if you're within a department, then that means it involves your department, the IT department, or like, cybersecurity department, or security operations center department, and the organization, the stakeholders, the executives, and so on and so forth. Why? Because it's intensive. They want to know what happened, what got compromised, what was the incident, and who got impacted. So any organization you're going to go to, they do have an incident response lifecycle that they do follow, and each incident is different than another incident in terms of what they involve within the life cycle and the framework that they utilize. Now, what is an incident response, or what is an incident response framework? Just for those that never heard of it, it's basically a guide that any organization will follow so they can manage any incident that will happen within their organization, and utilize, let's say, a standardized process. So you have a guide that your organization will utilize for any incident or events that will happen, that also includes a process that tells you what you need to do starting from A to Z. Now, what are some of the frameworks? We mentioned a few before, but let's focus, let's say, for example, on the NIST framework, right? The National Institute of Standards and Technology. That's what NIST stands for. The NIST itself, as a framework, they do have a cybersecurity framework, which we touched base on a little bit in the past, the CSF one. And this one includes 6 key stages, right? And which we're going to talk about them. And those encompasses something we call the life cycle. Now we're going to talk about the key stages for the framework. We're going to cover that. And then what are the critical steps that you need to be aware of? And then how do we investigate it? And this is one for you to know. In terms of the investigation, sometimes depending on the framework, but for NIST, for example, they do focus on documenting everything by following the 5 W's. And that stands for who, what, when, where, and why. And that will allow you to answer most of the questions and get some evidence, some feedback, some information to document your incident and then do a proper investigation. And then lastly, you just do a documentation for the whole entire thing, and you will be good to go. And let me just double check here. Let me just see if I have one. There you go. And I'll be able to show you an example of a template. I wanted the CISA. Yep, they do have it. Okay, cool. We'll showcase that in a minute. But let's dive into it. So within incident response, any incident that you're going to be handling, any aspect of or component that you're going to be touching needs to go through an operation, right? So how your team going to respond to the incidents once it happen, and what are the steps that you need to follow, right? So with that one, we need to understand the phases that we need to go through. And this one, we have the preparation phase, the detection and analysis phase, and then we have the contamination, eradication and recovery, and then the post-incident activity. Now, these are very important, and they do vary from one framework to another, and the components within also vary as well. Sometimes some other organizations, they do include other phases as well, because it's more appropriate to what they utilize for whatever framework that they are utilizing. But in general, you're going to see these 4 in any life cycle you're going to go through for any incident response. Now, who gets involved within the operation itself? And then we'll talk about what each one of these mean, and actually let's go through it. For the preparation within the incident response, this one is the phase that you utilize to prepare your team how to handle incidents, right? If an incident happened, like a fake incident, or before an actual incident happened, you need to make sure that your team is prepared. You have some examples, you stress test them, you fake an incident, you make sure that they don't know that it's a legitimate incident. Maybe you create your own malware and deploy it into an X amount of devices that you know that they are testing devices, but they do have the security softwares, just so you can see how your team going to react to it, how you gonna react to it. Maybe your boss gonna do it to you. So how are you gonna be prepared for it? And then also within the preparation itself, we need to identify, are our systems in place working? Do we need to modify anything? Are we missing something? Any improvements? Anything that's out of date? Um, and then if an incident happened, what are the things that flagged it? Who reported this to us? How did we know about it? Is it from a system? Is it from a user? Is it someone that reached out that heard from someone else? So all of these different things are very important within the preparation. Detection and analysis. This one happens after the fact, where you get a request, you got an alert, you got something, then you need to uh, either have a software or someone like maybe a cybersecurity analyst such as yourself will be like, all right, well, this system flagged it for me. It detected that there is a suspicious activities, or it detected that something got downloaded and it shut down the machine or did something. Then it did a basic analysis, but now your job is to make sure that you analyze this to see, is it a false positive, meaning that it's not an actual incident, or it's a true positive, meaning it's an actual incident that was flagged and it got detected, and now you need to further analyze how it happened, right? So this one is very critical. Then after that is the contamination, right? And the eradication and the recovery. And with this one, we mainly focus on, um, how did we stop the threat? And then if something happened, how we can recover from it. Maybe a machine got compromised. Maybe a user account got compromised. Maybe the network got compromised. Maybe our backups got compromised. Or you never know, right? It could happen in many different ways, or maybe in a platform that you utilize and all of your users got compromised. For example, we utilize Meta, Facebook, so we can manage ads for our clients, because I work for a media company. And one of the users, her account got compromised. And what happened is, when her account got compromised, the hacker was able to spend about like $700,000 in ads, but those got paused by Meta system for validation, because it was a huge amount that got pushed right then and there. And the team noticed after like an hour or so, and then they made sure that all of the accounts associated to the user got blocked. Now, with that system itself, there is no IT oversee in the system itself, because it's mainly managed by external party. But because of that incident, we got involved. My team got involved, and we had to do an incident response. We had to do an incident about it. We had to check with the user, and then after checking everything, I found out that the user was away. I think they were traveling or something, and they weren't using their company device. So they were logging into Meta from a personal device, and that's how they got compromised. And what did we do is we shut down the account. We made sure to reset everything, even though they didn't get into the user account and obtain like sensitive information or something like that. They were able to spend money, but they couldn't do anything else. So in terms of um, contamination, making sure to lock down everything, we were able to do that. The system was able to do that. We reached out to the vendor. We reached out to the clients. We locked down the user accounts. We resetted everything, and we made sure that the user won't get access until they get their machine back. So even though they were away, we didn't give them access. We were like, well, you should have told us. And now this, got you to have a compromise, and we're not going to give you access until you're back. Now you're going to say, well, how we couldn't catch it? Well, that user itself, their job was just to work on meta ads. So even if they are on a company or a non-company device, they will still be able to log into Meta because you won't be able to restrict it by a machine. So this one is for you to know. It's a real scenario. Once the user got back, we recovered all of their accounts. We gave them access to everything that they need to have access to. And we started asking more questions to fill in our report for the incident. And we are working with Meta so we can resolve the incident and put it to close. Now, once you do all of that, then you come to something called post-incident activities. And this one is associated to like, what are you going to do after this incident? It's basically like, what did you learn from it? Well, we learned that we don't have, I'll answer that in a minute. We learned that we don't have oversight over users logging into web browser platforms, and we need to monitor that. So because we utilize, Gmail, and we are a Google shop, and users need to authenticate, what I did is I implemented SSO, which is single sign-on, that will force the users to authenticate with not their Facebook email and password, but their company email and password, which is also associated to our company. But with this one, it's a login that they need to go through Gmail, then a login that will go straight to Facebook. So if it goes to Gmail, I'll be able to control it. I'll have oversight for everything that they do. And I'll also have reporting in place where they are logging from and what they are doing. So I implemented SSO, I rolled it out to the Meta account, and then we migrated all the users from a just standard user account to a company joined account with SSO, single sign-on. And now we actually have monitoring across their devices. So if they, or actually not across their devices, across of the login activities where they are logging from. So when they logging from, let's say, a device, we will get the name, we'll get the IP, we'll get the location, we'll get all of that. So we'll be able to monitor everything and make sure that these users that are working for the organization, they are following our security best practices, our procedures, and ensuring that we have a lockdown for everything associated to the softwares for our company. In case a situation like that happens after, we will be able to say that, hey, we had something in place and we are monitoring it and it's working. So it's very important to know, once you do the incident, it's very important to put something for recommendations. If you don't put something there, then you're going to be in question. They're going to tell you, well, this happened. Why did it happen? And once they ask you why it did happen or why it happened, and you're going to tell them an answer, then they're going to tell you that there is a gap. Maybe sometimes, maybe it's an antivirus situation, right? Or maybe it's associated to your patch management software, the software that handles patching, all your machines for old versions, updates. If you have Windows, for example, you see that you have updates that you need to go through. Companies, they do have software that manage these updates. So maybe it's that software, maybe it doesn't do a good job. So you need to replace it maybe, and things like that. So all of these are part of the incident response operation following these different four phases. And they are very important, and you need to know it because it's going to be part of your day-to-day activities, especially if you're going to be working in security. So all of these are very important. It's good for you to know, and you're probably going to see it. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be touching base on an example for an incident response, but there is, this example right here, and I'll send you I'll send you the link so you can take a look. Actually, before I get into it, Alfred, how difficult was it working with Meta? Not difficult, because the company I work for, they are SOC 2 compliant. Within SOC 2 framework, you need to have a representative from each vendor, or yeah, from each vendor you work with. So if you are working with Meta, then you need to have an email for a representative from Meta overseeing your account. Why is that? Because we are spending money. We need to sometimes talk to somebody. Maybe we want a feature, maybe we have an issue, maybe we need a refund, and things like that. So you don't go the normal support route. You will have a dedicated representative for your account. So because we have a company Meta account, we do have an assigned representative. And once you reach out to them, they normally reach back, and then you set up a call, or you can just do it via emails. But I can tell you that it's terrible in terms of how they manage their recovery. And why is that? Because, like, for example, we got hacked, right? The user got hacked. The hacker spent $700,000 in terms of fraudulent activities, and then now we have to wait 30 days to 60 days for them to refund all of that money, just because they have their own processes that they need to go through. And on top of it, why I don't like Meta at all, and why I moved away from from moving a standard log in to an SSO, because the hacker was able to bypass 2FA, and log into the user account. So the user, that user wasn't just logging in with a username and password. They also had a two-factor authentication, meaning like their phone number was also assigned to it. But because Meta, they've been having a lot of security breaches, even if you have 2FA enabled, they started developing new things. And that's when I asked them. I was like, hey, I do see that you guys started offering SSO. Can we work together so we can make it happen? They gave me whatever I need. I started developing it on my end. I created the SSO, and I pushed it through. Now, if a hacker wants to bypass the authentication, they won't be able to, because it's going to reroute them to my security control, that is within my hands. So it will be difficult for them to breach it. Find people at Meta. Talk small business is so hard. Not really, to be honest. If you are registered and you have an account with them, James, they will assign someone to your account. So if you have a domain and you are working for a company and you're going to be utilizing Meta for spending, they will find a way to get your money, and they will assign somebody. Transaction to go through. So yeah, they didn't. So the transactions went through, but sometimes when you buy something, it will go in like a processing mode or something like that. Uh, this is what happened on their end. And when it happened through processing, and they saw that, like, this is unusual. We never spend $700,000 in like less than an hour. So they put a hold on it. When they put a hold on it, that's when our account managers, they were like, oh, there's something going on, and that's when they reached out to us and we started working on it. Now, when it's in processing, that doesn't mean the money is gone. It just means that someone tried to spend it, and then now they just need to get it back.
How was this hacker or whoever thinking they were going to get paid off of this? I mean, they aren't Meta.
That's true, but you know what they do? When you spend money on ads,
Yeah.
they spend it with ads that are associated to crypto.
Uh,
So yeah, so that's how they get paid. So when you associate it to crypto, they will get paid, like a fraction in the dark web. Maybe they spent 700,000, they got paid 10,000
Mm.
because now it spiked the ads or whatever, and now maybe somebody clicked on it. That's how they make money. It's not like, oh, I spend the money and I get a percentage of it. I spend the money on an ad, that they know they could gain money from, and then just get spread it across all of the users available in Meta and Facebook, and then hopefully someone will click on it, and people do. So that's how they target people.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And it gets way more complicated than that. And I wish if I could share the incident response report they did, but it was
Yeah,
25 pages, and that's
and
only writing,
probably
and about
also
five.
secret or classified.
Yeah. Yep. It's very classified. It's PII information,
Uh-huh.
personally identifiable information, and I won't be able to. But there is templates, right? So
Yeah.
there's templates online. If you just search for just incident response template, you will see this one I like by the CISA, um, the gov, by the department, and it shows you like the life cycle, the operation, how you should start it, where it needs to end, and what are the things that you need to include. So for example, you do have the post incident activities right here. You also do see the eradication plan right here. You do see the analysis phase here, the investigation here. So you see they split it in multiple different ways, uh, instead of utilizing the main keys, right, or the main phases. Look right here, they have coordination as well. So you can add that as well. So they split these into subcategories, which is pretty nice. And then from there, you will start and create your own report, which includes multiple different things, and it's really helpful, to be honest. But let me show you. I think if I go back, there is one that I used last time. Let's see. Is it this one? I just want to show you an example. Yeah, this is an example. So, and there you go. So this is a template where you just have to fill everything in here, and you're just gonna fill it out, and then just follow the instructions. You see, you have multiple different things that you need to know. They're gonna ask you questions. You can add on top of it, but you can just Google. There's multiple different templates out there. If you guys are interested in the template that I use, there's something we call postmortem, and this one I use for any incident that I go through. I can just give you guys the empty blank template, and
Whoops.
then you guys just look at the question, and then from there you'll be able to answer everything. Um,
This is
but good.
Australian.
Did the user have a virus on their personal laptop? How did the account get compromised? To answer that, Luke, we don't care, right? As an organization, and this is like a professional tip, um, because it's a personal device. We don't care as long the accounts associated to our company or the company I work for didn't get compromised. I don't care what happens to the personal machine, because it's not a company owned machine, right? Now, from the human perspective, I do check the user machine just to help them out in case they have a virus or something like that. Then I'll help them out. I'll show them what they need to do, and then after that, it's going to be on them. And the user had a virus on their machine, and I helped them clear it out. And I also recommended that they format it, because I did see a few other things and I didn't want to spend a lot of time on it. But the critical thing that I saw on the machine, I was able to remove it. So yeah, if it's non-company machine, no one cares. If the company owned, um, you know, credentials, logins associated to the users and platforms gets compromised, that's the priority. If it's a machine associated to the company, that's a priority. And you're going to see that, maybe you do work for an organization right now, or maybe you will, and you will see it's going to be the same way. No one cares about, something compromising a personal machine. If it got compromised and nothing happened to your account, then you don't need to create a big fuzz about it and report it to insurance, right? Because it's on a personal machine. But if something happened on a personal machine that compromised a company account, or or a hacker gained access to a whole entire account, and they gained like personal information and stuff like that, then yeah, it will become a big deal. And that user most likely going to be probably losing their job. Um, Yeah, so that's another thing, James. But for this incident, it wasn't as impactful. Well, it is kind of impactful because it was a fraudulent activities, but those will be refunded, um, and we'll just move on with our life. In terms of my job, um, we did it to the best of our ability. We were able to remediate all of the flags that we saw, and Meta handled what they need to handle on their platform. And we made sure to improve authentication, login activities, and monitoring. That's the only thing we can do. And we posted a new procedures, new policies, enforcing and prohibiting utilizing personal machines. And if you do, then there is consequences. So this is my real life scenario that I had to go through, or yeah, I had to go through literally in April. So yeah, now as we are talking about this, there is a few things that we're going to cover within the incident response as a cybersecurity analyst or someone working in security, in networking, IT, etc. Sometimes, most of the times, depending on your manager and what kind of access you're going to be getting, but you might encounter a few services that you will be working with, and those are services that will allow you to detect activities, right? And that's something I mentioned in the incident that I had to report, record, and manage for Meta is activities, right? We had to look at activities, what happened, when did it happen, why it happened, and so on and so forth. Now, within the incident response itself, right? There is tools that you need to utilize, and those we call them detection tools or monitoring tools. Those are the tools that don't sleep. They are on 24/7. They are continuously monitoring activities, if it's usual, unusual, authorized, unauthorized, and so on and so forth, and trigger alerts in return. Now, those are split into three categories that you normally should have and you should see in any organization. One is intrusion detection system, and then we have intrusion prevention system, and we have EDR, or endpoint detection response. Now, with intrusion detection system and intrusion prevention system, the intrusion detection system is a tool that will allow you to monitor for activities and will give you alerts, right? So it's just a tool that will check things. It's like your eyes, right? You can see everything, and then if you see something wrong, then you probably be able to point at someone, tell them like, hey, I do see something that's not right. um, Maybe someone is allergic to peanuts and you see them eating peanuts, then you just be like, you go to someone else, be like, hey, didn't you say that this guy is allergic to peanuts? Oh, I see him eating cookies with the peanuts, or something like that. So IDS, or intrusion detection system, its job is only to monitor, and it doesn't stop the attack. Why? It just check things and that's it, and then give you alerts. IPS, intrusion prevention system, that's the tool that IDS will tell it like, hey, I'm seeing something wrong in here. Um, can you block it? Can you put a hold on it? then intrusion prevention system will say, yep, all right, I'll take this and I'll block it for you. It will go ahead and block the threat. It will automatically shut it down, and then it will just prevent any malicious activities. You can do it on an endpoint, like a machine name, on an IP address, on a whole entire CIDR, and you can also do it for domains. So domains like Amazon.com, Google.com, Facebook.com, Meta.com, etc. Now, those normally you will see them on your network, right? They are within your network. You'll be able to utilize it within your network, like your firewall, like your security guard. Your security guard maybe we need a gun, and then we need, let's say, I don't know, like let's say a car. The car is the IDS and the gun is the IPS. The security guard will go inside the car and it will start driving around the park or the buildings just to make sure that no one is intercepting, right? And then if he sees there's someone intercepting, maybe they're gonna pull the gun and shoot them down, and that's your IPS. So this is a good example there for you. So these normally in the firewall. So your security guard. Your security guard is the one that basically steer the wheel um, and manage everything within your network. And then we have the last thing, which is EDR. So yes, you're managing the network, you're monitoring the network activities, like people logging into the Wi-Fi, logging into the local area network or the LAN through Ethernet, and that's how they, doing things over the internet. But what about your computers? Let's say, yeah, they logged in, they access the Wi-Fi, they are on the web, they doing what they need to do. Now what? What's good? What if they download something on the machine? How are you going to protect that? Well, to do that, we need to install an endpoint detection and response. So this one is similar to an antivirus, but it's more advanced layer of protection for your machines. So you install that. It's similar to an antivirus. You install it on individual machines or endpoints. You can do it on your phones, your laptops, your desktops, your servers, etc. And its job doesn't sleep as well, 24/7 open, running, analyzing things that you are doing on the machine. If it sees that you're doing something that's not right, or you downloaded something that could be, like a true positive, it will block it. And then we'll shut down the machine, it will disconnect you from the network, and then you will lose access to everything, and it will just block you from accessing the Wi-Fi. And then it's gonna notify IT. It's gonna notify you. It's gonna say like, hey, let's say James' machine uh, 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 got quarantined. So now I need to go reach out to James, be like, yo, what's going on? I do see that your machine got locked down, disconnected from the internet. I need to log in ASAP and validate what's going on your machine. Then you're going to log in and see what's going on. Sometimes it's a false positive, other times it's a true positive. So this is where it's very important. Some of the examples for that for EDR softwares. These are the top vendors out there. So Santa One is actually what I use in the current organization that I work for. It's one of the best, if not the best, EDR solution for you out there, endpoint detection and response. And they do have an XDR, which is a second layer elevated detection and response capabilities, where if it flags something, you will be able to literally get way more information, more than what you need. Obviously, CrowdStrike is also notorious in that space, but I really don't like them, and I just don't like them. There was some really bad experiences in the past with them, and on top of it, what made it really worse is the patch that they deployed, I believe, like in beginning of this year or last year, that shut down, like, I don't know, 20 governments and God knows how many airport systems and multiple other smaller and larger companies. They caused an outage, global outage. Imagine you're flying, right, and you go into another country, and then all of a sudden you see that all of the TVs are not working. They're just showing a blue screen of death. all of their broadcasting, all of their services that they are using to monitor and see what are the airplanes that are landing, what are airplanes that are going, what are the airplanes that just flew, and all of these different things. Imagine like you're there and they tell you like, oh, sorry, yeah, we have an outage with our one of our vendors and we're trying to fix it, and it took them like 4 days, to fix like most of the damage, but still there are smaller companies that couldn't do anything about it. So it's pretty huge. Um, so this one is one of them. As a vendor, maybe you're gonna like them. Maybe you're gonna be able to utilize them. They do have multiple different tools. They even have a SIM tool, which we're gonna cover in the next slide, that you'll be able to utilize. But also there's other good ones as well. Like Broadcam is good. Bitdefender is good. Um, Trend Macro is like, Huntress is really good, but I really love Sentinel One, and I've been using it for years. And I do support that organization and the services that they do provide. And actually, if you do invest in that company and get their services, you can sleep well. So me as managing like a whole entire department and then users and have the responsibilities to make sure that everything is configured appropriately and everything is running the right way, this tool makes me sleep well. In terms of IDS and IPS tools, there is a few, but those normally are within your firewall. So I use Cisco in my organization, and the firewall that I have, it includes both IDS and IPS, right? It makes sense. You have your firewall, you have your security guard, then might as well just give them the car and give them the gun yourself. So you can manage the whole entire thing. And you can see there is multiple different vendors right here. So IDS and IPS, you do have Cisco, right? So Cisco is right here. You do have Snort is one of them. Suricata is another one. So Snort is an open source IDS solution right here. It's a little piggy bang, call it piggy bang. They have the pig icon. So this one is integrated with any firewall available in the market. Its job is just to monitor, right? They do have some parts of it that does prevention, but Suricata is notorious for IPS as well, and it has some IDS. So these are open source. You can download it, you can run it through, check it out, and then play with it if you want. But for this course, we are not gonna dive into the nitty gritty of the things. It's just for you to understand a little bit about them. SIM tools and SIM technologies, I believe I mentioned that before, but what it is, SIM stands for System Information Event Management. Basically, what it means that you have one application or one platform, or think of it, you have 10 applications, right? You have your firewall, you have your antivirus software, you have your VPN software, you have Meta, you have, like all these other softwares. Now, instead of me as a cybersecurity analyst or IT or working in security, instead of me logging into all of these different systems one by one, checking the logs, making sure everything is good, all of this, why don't I just get one system that will allow me to connect all of these other 10 systems into it, and I can just log into that SIM tool and it will show me everything that I need to know about the other 10 systems. So, when I log into the SIM tool, it will show me everything that I need to know from all of these other systems. So I don't need to log into my firewall or my Meta account to check like activities and stuff like that. I can just go to my SIM tool and I'll be able to check everything from there. Would that make your life easier? Hell yeah. You're going to be able to save a lot of time, a lot of energy. You're going to be a little bit more efficient and productive in terms of your day to day activities. Some of these vendors out there, and there's a lot. One of them that I really like, called AdLumen, and it's a very small, very small. Oh, that's crazy. They closed the office. It's a very small organization, but they do have a fantastic tool. And that tool, it's not just a SIM tool. It will also allow you to do remediations and work with, multiple different flags. You can automate. It's a security tool. It's a whole entire, life cycle of products. Like it has EDR, it has MDR, it has multiple different things that you can do. Now, this is one of them, but obviously there is a Splunk, right? SIM tools. Splunk is by, I believe, by Cisco. Let's see, where is it doesn't show you. Okay. This one is a free and open source. You'll be able to download it yourself. You'll be able to test it. There's Splunk Enterprise. IBM is a great tool as well. Trilix, for those maybe heard of it in the past, worked in it. It's a tool that will allow you to also manage logs, work with logs. They also do offer um, antivirus as well, or EDR. Most of these services, they do provide EDR, XDR, and SIM. It's just, I don't know, sometimes, and this is probably good for you to know, it's sometimes it's good to consolidate, right? So you can just pay one vendor, get a great deal. But what if that vendor goes down? Then you're screwed in multiple different ways. So that's why for me, I sometimes I do consolidate, but I don't consolidate everything. If I let's say I know this vendor do 5 things, maybe I'll do 2 things, and then keep them on their robes, hoping that I will, get the other 3 things into it, and then force them to give me a better discount. But these are the vendors that offer SIM capabilities or SIM offering. Fortinet is also good, but so manual. Our governments use it. In Hartford, I applied for a job like 7 years ago, and I got to the interview process. There was like I don't know, like information security 3 or something like that, and it's basically like a manager, right? And then I passed all of the interviews. I went through all the way to the final interview where I was meeting the guy that I was going to report to, and I just hated him. Like I didn't see myself working for that guy. I knew he was going to micromanage the hell out of me, and I just didn't like the way he was like talking about everything, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be comfortable, and I just dropped everything. And one of the things that he mentioned is utilizing Fortinet for their firewall activities and VPN, which is fine by me, because I can do it, and I'll be able to, like monitor everything, work with it, configure it, and do whatever I need to do with it. But sometimes it comes to like, are you comfortable working with these people? Like, do you see yourself working for that individual, reporting to that individual? Because the last thing you want is you wake up tomorrow and you're gonna be like, damn, do I really need to go to work? Or like you feel like, oh, you don't want to go to work anymore, just because of like the people you report to or something like that. So this one, just take it into consideration. I believe in it, and I declined a lot of jobs in the past, and you will definitely find a spot where you belong. If you're just starting this journey, then just take anything. Once you have like 4 to 6 months experience, you can go anywhere and you can be selective. Cool. Moving on, understanding network traffic. For network traffic, as I mentioned before, I believe I showed you guys Wireshark, maybe not. But what is network monitoring, right? And how do you understand our network traffic? Well, for network monitoring, is basically how do we watch our network traffic? How do we detect any unusual activities, any suspicious activities? What does it represent? Think of it like a security camera, that they have on the highways. I don't know if you guys drive by New York these days, but the other day I drove to New York, and it was like nighttime, maybe around 8, 9. And I went through like a normal street. There was like houses and stuff. It was in Brooklyn or Queens, I don't know, somewhere there. And then I saw a flashlight behind my car, just out of nowhere. I was like, what is going on in here? Like someone taking a picture of me or something? Or I thought maybe it was the lamp, like it flickered. And I was like, and then my wife was like, oh, I think it's a ticket. I was like, there's no way. Where did they put it? And there's no traffic light, there's nothing. And so I stopped to check, and I was like, I got concerned. I was like, wait, what's going on? Did we just pass by like a neighbor? Should we run? I don't know. So I stopped to check, and I saw that they put the camera on a tree, not on like a cable or something, no, on a tree, and it was all the way on top that you can't even see it. And I was like, oh shoot, yeah, we got a ticket. So then after like 5 days, they mailed it to me, and they were like, oh, you had a violation, and I was driving more than 25 miles per hour on a private road. And and I was like, and I was driving like 28 miles per hour. So it's becoming ridiculous there. And that's why I told my wife, I was like, we are not going there anymore. We can either use the train, but I'm not driving there anymore. Um, so yeah, so that's one way. That's one way where you can utilize network traffic, and that's what they actually use. Now, within the network traffic, or why we are utilizing this, or why we are utilizing these networking monitoring tools, and why it matters. It matters because every time, oh, beautiful. Let me just exit that out. We don't need it. Because every time someone needs to send an email, stream a video, browse a website, or do whatever they need to do, you are utilizing data. And then these data are flowing where? Within your network. So you need to see what's going on. And the best way for you to identify what's going on is to review everything. Now, with monitoring itself, there's multiple different tools, and I'll show you Wireshark again and Nmap as well, because these are my favorite. If you want to dive in depth and learn a little bit more and strengthen your network analysis capabilities, I highly recommend take videos, or maybe I'll be. Looks like they are taking my proposal. Maybe they're reviewing it, but I highly doubt something gonna happen this year. We'll see. If they allow me to do um, just a cybersecurity class, not Google related, that's gonna be hands-on, where I'll show you, I'll explain things like what do you see in the Wireshark, what do you see in the Nmap, and then all of these different things. But um, let me go ahead and show you a few things. Do I have Wireshark? Yes, I do. And then within Wireshark, or these network monitoring tools, it's great for you as a cybersecurity analyst or even IT uh, to utilize these tools, because it allow you to understand your network data, your network flow, what are the baselines associated to it. Like, for example, we have our own proprietary website and application, and this one is a private, so no one have access to it. It shouldn't be publicly accessible, and it just need to be locked. So one of our engineers, and that was like before they hired me, he was like, hey Abdul, I don't know, but I do see that there is no certification applied to our website. Is there a way for us to validate that? And I was like, yeah. So why this is not working right? So what I did, I was like, all right, let me run Wireshark within our internal network, and let me go ahead and try to visit the website. So I ran Wireshark, started scanning, and then while I was scanning, I opened the website, or like Chrome, and then I went to the site for the application, the proprietary application, and then I paused the scan after that, and I checked it, and I was like, yeah, look, the key is publicly accessible, meaning that anyone can go penetrate and be able to exploit the application if they gained access internally. So right away, we had to go in, apply an SSL on the domain, and we were able to fix that issue. But imagine if this was a public application, we would have been screwed a while ago. So Wireshark, this is an example, right? It didn't capture a lot because this is my adapter. It's not the actual Wi-Fi. But I just wanted to show you. It will start scanning, show you the time, show you the source, which normally gives you IP address, and then what is the destination, which give you another IP address, what is the protocol, and then some other information. You can drill down, you click on it, and then right here, it will show you some information, like what we discussed before in terms of what IPv4 carries, what IPv6 carries, and things like that. I remember right now, so I did go through it with you guys. Yeah, so you'll be able to drill down, and then once you click on these, let's say each one of these, when you click on it, it should give you values on the right. So these are encrypted values, but if there is something that is not encrypted, then you'll be able to read it, including passwords. So this one is very powerful tool, and I highly recommend you guys utilize it. Nmap is another one where we use Nmap and Wireshark hand to hand. Where Wireshark, you will use it so you can analyze the activities within your organization, within your network, and within the websites that you host and manage. But what if it's something outside? For example, let's say we have, I think I did, let's say meta.com, right? And then here you can write multiple different commands, whatever you want to utilize. There's a bunch. But let's say I hit a scan. This is what pen testers use. And this is what I'm learning a little bit more about because I want to become a a pen tester. To do penetration testing. But when you see what you see here is you see that I'm trying to reach out to meta.com website, and I wanted to get a little bit more information that is not visible to me, via just a normal lookup. And with this one, it will show you everything. It will show you where it went, what are the ports that are open, what are the services available, is there any subdomains that I need to know, and so on and so forth. And you see it's continuing to scan and give me a little bit more information, um, and if they do have something open, maybe ports that are open, things like that, it will tell you. And then once it finished running, look at that. It will give you a whole entire analysis that you will be able to utilize for your own advantage. It tells you like where the request went, what kind of this is the HTML actually for the site, and then what kind of IP addresses they went through, what kind of subdomains they went through, and then this is all this we don't care about because it's acknowledgments. And then in here, it show you any aggressive modes that it was able to go through. Look, they are hosting it on iOS 14, and they were able to capture TV as well. That's crazy. Apple, Mac OS 11. Oh, so these are just available for us to grab and authenticate with. All right, so this is not big deal. And then in here, it show you the trace route, where it went and where it ended. And look, it was able to go to one of their routes under facebook.com. So you see, all of these are very important. It's just you need to understand what you are looking for, what does this means, and how you can use it, and how it could become a valuable resource. So yeah, Wireshark and Nmap, they are great tools to utilize, and I highly recommend if you're interested in these to look up a YouTube video. You don't even need to buy anything. There's a bunch of resources that are free on YouTube that will show you the commands that you need to use. Because even in Wireshark, believe it or not, in here there's commands that you can use. And I believe, oh yeah, and they do have like some analysis things you'll be able to use. statistics. All of these are like modules that they build for you in case you don't want to just use the command right here. That we call a command prompt. But good, awesome. Oh, this one we already covered it for the packet capture and investigation. I already showed you, um, Wireshark and Nmap. There is also things that we look for in terms of the header, the footer, the payloads, and those are all within Wireshark, within your packet sniffer. When you're trying to utilize your network protocol or your network protocols and the analysis associated with them. TCP dump. This one, if you're utilizing Linux and you don't have a Wireshark, like in Coursera, there is, when we went through Linux module and I was showing you the commands and I was playing with the labs and things like that. If you open one of the labs and you just download TCP dump and then you just run a trace, to meta.com, it will literally show you something like this, right? It will show you one line, line by line. It will show you the timestamp, what you did, where it's going, what you're doing right now, where you're opening, and so on and so forth. It's similar to Wireshark. Wireshark right now is showing you this line. In TCP dump, it will show you like literally in like a command prompt. It will show you like this. Nothing nice, right? But you'll still get the information that you need. And this one is mostly and commonly used on Linux. And then as IT professionals, and utilizing Linux, you will need to utilize some analysis tool, especially if you don't have useful tools such as Wireshark within these systems. Some other IT people, they utilize TCP dump or any other tools, command line tools, because they don't like to interact with a lot of different applications. They just like to put scripts, put commands, and then just run it. And that's what they do day in and day out, which is fine. Awesome. Now we do have incident detection methods. There is a few. There is a threat hunting, there is a threat intelligence, and then cyber deception. The detection and analysis. This one, as we mentioned before, uh, we need something so we can analyze and detect the activities happening within our environment, within our systems. And for those, you can use SIM, you can use the IDS, the IPS, ADR, all of these different tools. That's why I had to cover them. Now with the threat hunting, why it's important. It's basically a proactive search for threats that are automated for you, right? So if you miss something, this tool will automate it for you. Why it's important, right? Attackers are constantly evolving. So if you don't have a tool that will automatically tell you, what you need to update or what you need to patch, or maybe automatically tell you what you need to update and you just click and it will update it for you, then you'll be screwed, right? Because attackers out there, they now start utilizing AI to build malware and publish malware and deploy it. Um, some threats are very like common, others are non-common. And there is multiple techniques that are available out there that if you don't have this automated, you will be in a really bad spot. Then we do have a threat intelligence. Um, and for those ones are tools that are going to give you like evidence information, give you like insights for what threats available out there. So those, they're not going to deploy it automatically to your systems, but they're just going to give you a report, tell you like, hey, these are the current emerging threats for today, this week, this month. And then you're going to be like, okay, is it something that I need to investigate right now? Is it something that I need to wait a little bit There's actually, let's see, vulnerability website for vendor. There's a website I use, ISV, I think it's called. Oh yeah, CVE. CVE. Yeah, there you go. Love this website. Uh, oh yeah, sorry, no. I was just looking for the CVE website. This is gonna take forever to load. This website, right, to answer the threat intelligence, right? How do you know that there is threats out there? What are the packages that are available for us and things like that? You can use free websites like this one. What this do is it will, if you know, if you're working with a vendor, let's say I'm working with Cisco, and you just type Cisco, and you will see once you type Cisco and you hit enter, what is going on? I don't know what's going on, but let's see you buy. Yeah, let me see. Cisco. Oh, there you go. So let's do Cisco, right? And it will tell you, great. Once you do Cisco, it will give you the information about Cisco. And look at that. It will give you like historical vulnerabilities or issues, common vulnerabilities today. In 2025, they already have a lot of vulnerabilities, right? And then it's by categories. So you can click on this one, the XSS, and then see like what are the vulnerabilities currently in 2025. Some of the vendors, they don't patch it automatically. They might send you an email telling you like, hey, you need to do it, but sometimes they don't. And look at that. They give you like what is the vulnerability, what it is, give you a little bit more information about it, what is the score about it, and then you're going to be like, oh shoot, probably I need to do that. Look at this one. It's for WebEx. So if you use WebEx, for example, you need to make sure maybe to update to the latest version, and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to show you that really quickly. If you're interested in that website, I'll just post it there for you to utilize and take advantage of. They will be able to give you reports, give you, like data about the vulnerabilities, the issues, emerging threats. If you don't do it, what will happen, and so on and so forth. Cyber deception, those are techniques like they use honeypots. Those are like fake systems or files meant so attackers can lure you in to do something. And also security teams sometimes they utilize it so they can learn how attackers execute their code. Like I can create a honeypot right now to see, and then maybe click on a malware inside it and then see what the attacker gonna do and then learn from it and improve from there. So yeah, you got that. So all these are very important. We just need to know that they do exist. But currently nowadays, with the SaaS environment, there is multiple different things that are automated. You just need to get the vendor that give you the most things that you need in terms of like automations and features and services that you want to cover for the organization that you're going to be working for, and you should be good to go. Indicator of compromise, or IOS. This one is very important, but it's important for you to know that it does exist. But nowadays there is softwares that will do that for you automatically, and you just need to know that they do exist and what they mean. Now, for indicator of compromise, what is IOC? Think of it like finding a broken window and missing items. This is what it means. It's a sign that someone that breaks into your house. So this is what IOC means. It's basically a piece of evidence that you will need to identify a suspicious activity. And those are normally included within your firewall or within a security software or a system that you'll be able to get. They do follow two things that you need to know. The focus, and the after and the during. The focus for the after is basically what happened for the incident, like when the incident happened, or after the incident happened. How did the indicator of compromise happened? You know, so with the IOC indicator of compromise under the after module, we ask what happened. So that's after the incident. And then during the incident, we know that there is an incident, someone got compromised. During the incident, we ask ourselves, what's happening? That's within the indicator of compromise. So these two things are very important because you're going to include it within your report. And it's not a tool that you just plug things into it. There is a tool that you'll be able to utilize, and it will flag, if there is an indicator of compromise, and you shouldn't open, let's say, a file. But nowadays, if you have like an EDR, if you do have, good security tools in place, they already do that for you automatically, where it'll flag things for you by the hash value, like the unique value associated to the files, or like by the components of the folder, or the components of the extensions associated to whatever you're trying to run, or the MSI, like if it's an application you're trying to install. If you have security tools that can scan all of these different things, then you should be good. But for you, just for you to know, it's a way for us to identify, what happened and get some evidence, and that's it. Triage process and documentation. This one is also very important. Triage means figuring out which security alerts are most important and should be dealt with first. So if you got alerts and like security alerts, maybe you do have a priority. Which one of these alerts should go first? And then from there, you'll be able to tackle the rest of them. Within the process itself, you do have multiple different steps. Let's say one of them, um, for example, you have an asset and then you received it. Then what do you need to do? Maybe you need to check, is it a false positive, meaning that it's not an actual threat. Did the alert happen before? For this specific flag. Maybe someone downloaded something and then it flagged the machine, and maybe it's a false positive. Did it flag the machine before in the past? Is it a vulnerability? Is it a weakness that we didn't patch? And how serious it is. Then you assign a priority, right? How urgent this one or this incident. Then you put a priority against it, and then you start collecting data and then analyzing everything after that, and then you should be good to go. So that would be your triage process and documentation. Once you identify everything and then put a priority to it, then you start collecting data and analyzing everything. Once everything is all set, then you just document it in a report and then send it over to your manager, your team lead, and you should be good to go. Business continuity plan or business continuity. This one is very important for any business. Why? Because within the business continuity plan, you need to identify, what are the things that are critical to your business that you can't afford to go down. And if you are in my AWS class, I did mention a little bit about it, in which I explained about this specific topic. But for those that don't know what it is, it's just basically what are the critical systems within your organization that if they go down, is going to cause you a financial impact. It's going to cause you productivity issues, and it's going to harm your operation, your day-to-day activities. Once you identify those, then what you need to do, you need to maybe implement workarounds for them, get solutions in place, get backups in place, make sure that these systems will never go down. And that's going to be your job, to make sure that these will continue to run. And if they do fail, you do have a backup or a second plan in place. So that's what we mean by business continuity. Post incident review, we already covered that. So once the incident happened, you just need to make sure to document it, put all of the evidence there, make sure to say or ask questions: what happened, what time did it happen, who discovered it, let's say, how did we contaminate it, and so on and so forth. What are the recommendations in place that we need to put within, uh, whatever flag happened. Maybe we need to improve the software, the vendor, maybe we need to replace a vendor, maybe we need to update a process, procedure, and things like that. And then just deliver the final report. So this one, we already spoke about it, and I hope it was straightforward. Detection tools and techniques. This one, we kind of already covered it as well in terms of utilizing IDS, IPS, utilizing firewalls, utilizing networking tools. How do we identify activities within our networks? And what are the different techniques that we can utilize so we can go through them. There is actually, one way you can do it within your firewall, which is already built for you, something we call host-based intrusion detection system, which is, again, an intrusion detection system, which we already covered. This one is associated to like your machines that are within your network that you are trying to protect. So with this one, you install maybe like an agent or a software similar to like an antivirus, and you say, hey, I want a direct report only for this machine, and I wanted it to be stored separately. So with this one, when you install an agent for intrusion detection system, it will be able to report only on that specific machine because you downloaded that software only on that machine. So that's one way you can do it. But nowadays, if you have a firewall, then it will monitor everything associated to the machines. And if you want
Where
to
are we
have
going?
like logs and retentions to store these logs for an X amount of days, months, and years, then you'll be able to customize it and store it somewhere else. But for right now, it's these are associated to how do we detect what's running within our environment, and what are the techniques involved, which we already covered before. Log ingestion, this one is mainly associated to the SIM tools. We already covered it before. It's a log ingestion tool where you connect all of the different softwares and tools into it. You'll be able to go into one system, access all these different softwares, see what's going on, what's wrong, and what you need to improve or flag, set up alerts, and things like that. And then also you can say, well, maybe you're going for compliance, SOC 2, ISO, HIPAA, or whatever. Maybe they're going to tell you, well, you need to keep 30-day retention, like meaning keep the data for 30 days, maybe keep it for 60 days or 90 days. You'll be able to do it here. Go ahead, James.
So this is like it coalesces everything, analyzes it, and then gives you a report back
Yeah,
on a
it's
sort of
like
a
it
dashboard.
literally, yes. Yeah. So you literally plug everything into that system.
Hmm.
And then from there, you have a dashboard, and it will tell you, it will split by the things you plugged into it. Let's say you have Cisco, you're using Meta, you have your antivirus platform for maybe you're using public DNS like Cloudflare, GoDaddy. Maybe you're using Docker, you're using AWS, you're using Google, Azure. All these, you plug it into it, and
Hmm.
then it will show you everything there. It will scan things for you. It will flag things that are suspicious. So you will see like a category where it tell you like, oh, these are alarmed or alarming, then you should check them out. These are normal logs. These are, average logs. These are associated to devices that needs updates. These are failures that happens, and so on and so forth. And it will
So
give you all of that in a dashboard.
instead of seeing 100 million logs of all normal activity, it's gonna find the anomalies for you.
That's correct.
All right.
Yep. I wish I have budget for it. Otherwise, I would have definitely got this tool in my company. But we currently use a syslog server that we send some logs into it. And that's it. We are all set. This is what I wanted to cover for today. Hopefully, it was insightful. Hopefully, you guys liked some of the information there. Please make sure to look at Coursera, do some reading there, answer the discussions, and then let me know if you have any questions. Next time we meet, we're going to be talking about Python.
Yay.
Any
Nice.
questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Coursera's a bit
Yeah.
slow going, but we're making progress.
Yeah, take your time. Again, there is no
I got to do
deadline
all
for
the reading
Coursera.
for the discussions, of course, before the end of all this.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
for the reading, yes, you do. But everything else, you have time to do it. And yeah, if you guys have any questions there, let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer. But for right now, if you don't have any questions, feel free to drop, and I'll see you guys next week.
All right.
Cool.
See you then.
And
See you tomorrow, actually.
Yep, take
All
it
right,
easy.
yeah,
Professor.
Go ahead,
I'm
Luke.
moving tomorrow, so hopefully my Wi-Fi is up by 6 o'clock. Yeah, it should be.
Okay. Well, if you have issues, Luke, I'll have it recorded. If you can't like join Monday, that's completely fine. You know. And then for like the other classes, if you can't join, I'll have it recorded, so you get the recording either way.
Nice. Yeah, thank you.
Yep, you got it. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session, and I'll see you guys next Monday. Thanks.
All right. That was it. I'm going to go have dinner. Watch the end of Jeopardy. Later.